In this ANOVA, we have calculated the factors, classification factor, right? This classification factor based on the number of samples, right? Then we have discussed one case study with four categories, category 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we calculate the number of dependent and independent variable. In this case, this is the example of only two variable, where one is the independent variable, which is what, age category, and four are the factors of this particular category, or samples in general language. So to prove a particular variation, or to prove whether the particular difference is there in samples or not, and in sample mean or population mean or not, we have to consider two type of hypothesis. One is null hypothesis, which is what, which is all which is in terms of equality of all the means. Okay, mu1, mu2, mu3, mu4. What does this exactly mean? This exactly means that there is no difference between the population mean. Okay, and so the alternative hypothesis should be at least two means differ, or there is some difference between the population means of samples, right? So to prove this, we calculate first SST. The formula to calculate SST is N1 x1 upon x1 minus, or xi minus x bar square, right? When you put all these value, what is this N 9358? Can you tell me what exactly this means? This is
Ma'am, corresponding observation.
corresponding observation. So the generalized formula will be summation I
Xi.
equal to 1 to n, right? Xi
Xi.
minus x double bar means average of all the population square, right? So this is your x1, whole value is same. This 84 is the total number of population, or total number of observation available in what? Total number of observation available in x1, right? This is total number of observation available in x2. We have four category, x1, x2, x3, x4. Agree with me or not?
Ma'am, then the formula should be x1 into x1 minus x bar whole square. Now,
Where?
because n is rotating from 1 to n, I mean 1 to 4.
Hmm.
So the formula should
Yes,
be
yes, yes, yes. Ni should be there. Okay. Now we can check it by the calculation of x1, x2. Here, let's count. This is our x1, right now. This is x1, this is x2, this is x3, and this is x4. Let's count x1. What is the value of x1? How to count this? Which function I can use?
ma'am count.
Count, right? Count, select the data. What should be the answer as per our question, or as per our solution? What should be the answer for this?
84.
84.
Count range and comma 84 as well.
No, no, simple count, right?
Yes, ma'am. What we are counting, we have to specify, na, ma'am.
No, what we have selected, it will count that cells. See,
It's a general count you are saying. Ah, yes, ma'am.
general count,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
is not
Okay.
conditional counting, na?
Okay, ma'am.
So same I can apply for x2 also. Count, select B. number of cells and enter. The value should be 131, right? So by this way we can calculate, this is average of x1. We have already calculated this 44.39, right? So SST, sum of squares of treatment. You can calculate this, then you can calculate the sample variance. The formula to calculate sample variance is, what is the formula to calculate sample variance? We have discussed this. To calculate sample variance, the formula is summation I equal to 1 to n x I minus x bar whole square upon n minus 1, right? By this formula, you can calculate the sample variance. Are you with me, class? Let's calculate. How to calculate this? Suppose for this one, S1 square. Let's calculate here. What is the average for this? Average value is 44.93, right now, or 44.40. Let's calculate this value. How to calculate? Equals this minus this. Agree?
Yes, ma'am.
And since this address, this mean, we have to subtract this mean value from all the value, right now. So this, I can convert this value into absolute mode. Agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Variation is
Eh,
only in this x1 value. X bar is fixed, so
Hmm.
I can fix it by
F4.
dollar sign
F4.
F4. Okay, and
Hmm.
enter. Are you with me, class?
Yes, ma'am.
Just double click on this, you will get the values. Now what we have to do? We have to square this value. So what to do? This star, this, either this cap 2 you can apply, or this into this. Agree? This is the value. Are you with me, class? ये क्या है? एक्स आई माइनस एक्स बार, राइट? Yes, everyone, please tell me.
Yes, ma'am.
Right now, so to calculate square of this, what to do? Multiply this by this, same value. Just double click on this. Now what to do? What is our formula? Summation, summation I xi minus x bar whole square upon n minus 1. The total number of n here is, the total number of n here is 84, right now. So first apply the summation. What to do for the summation? Some value for x1 equal sum, add all these value, right? And what we have to do? Equal this divided by 130, 84 minus 1 and minus 1, no, it will be 83, 1502. Let's check. Oh, it is 386.55. क्या मिस्टेक हुआ हमसे? X bar is 44, no? This is 822 X bar. Yes, it is correct. Class, क्या मिस्टेक किया?
My whole square, ma'am. xi minus x bar whole square.
So this is square na? This is xi minus x bar. This is square of this.
Yes, ma'am. Positive. Yes, ma'am, yes.
Sum of this. हम्म क्या मिस्टेक हुआ बताओ.
Ma'am, in formula x1 into x1 minus x bar whole square we are writing, na, ma'am.
x1 minus.
No, no, x1 into x1 minus in bracket x1 minus x bar whole square we are writing, na, ma'am.
No, it is simply x1 minus x bar whole square.
Ma'am, you told the 84, 58, 93 वो वाला
हाँ
elements.
तो वो तो काउंटिंग है ना टोटल. ये वाला नंबर ऑफ ऑब्जर्वेशन.
Okay, that is n. Okay, okay, yes,
दैट
ma'am.
इज एन ना. देखो यहाँ मिस्टेक किया मैंने. फॉर्मूला x के आगे भी रन हो गया है. सी क्योंकि उसने
Yes,
लास्ट
ma'am.
वैल्यू इस सेल का ले लिया है. राइट. नाउ लेट्स चेक सम ऑफ ऑल दिस. देखो इधर भी जीरो है. हालांकि इससे कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. नॉट इफेक्ट बट वी कैन डिलीट दिस. नाउ कैलकुलेट सम ऑफ. राइट ना. देखो 85. सी हियर 85 means counting is 84. Agree? Class.
Yes, ma'am.
Because in the first cell label is there, heading is there. Okay. See now 386.56. See this one. Right? क्या किया यहाँ पर? This sum divided by 84 minus 1 directly 83. 386.54. See. Right? Class.
Yes, ma'am.
So by this way you can calculate the sample variance. Then within the term values you can calculate it by this formula ni minus 1 si square. You can calculate sum of square of error. Right. Now you can calculate mean square for treatment sst minus k minus 1 and mean square of error. It is also called as mean estimate square of error, and this is exactly the main step, which is what f test. Okay, which is what f test. You can calculate f value from here, and this is the value of mst. This is the value of mst. This is the value of mse, and f value is this. Right. Now when f statistics, आपने नोट किया है ये. When f statistics or as f calculated is greater than f tabulated or f critical. Critical. Listen it carefully, everyone. When f statistics, this is our f statistics or f calculated. This is f calculated, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And f tabulated, it is the one table is there like log table. F table is there. You can calculate the value of f from the f table, or in Excel you will directly get the critical value. Okay. So when f statistic or f calculated is greater than f tabulated, test is statistically significant, right? Test is statistically significant. Okay. When test is statistically significant, in that case, when test is statistically significant, this is the case of this is the case when we reject null hypothesis. Note it down. When we reject null hypothesis. This is first interpretation about F test. This is first interpretation about F test. Okay, are you with me?
Ma'am, when F statistical is greater than F calculated, then test
Huh.
is significant,
Test.
right?
If F calculated is greater than F tabulated or F critical, when you work with the log table, it is F tabulated. When you work with the Excel, it is F
Ah,
critical, right?
yes.
So F calculated is greater than F tabulated or critical. Test is statistically significant, right? And in this case, the interpretation is null hypothesis rejected. Okay, this is first interpretation. Can I proceed? Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
See, PF statistics greater than F. In general, since the purpose of calculating F statistic is to determine whether the value of SST is large to reject the null hypothesis, when SST value is large, we usually reject null hypothesis, right? A small value of SST supports the null hypothesis. A large value of SST supports the alternative hypothesis. Supports alternative hypothesis means null hypothesis rejected. This is one of the interpretation. Second, F value is greater than F statistics. In that case also, F calculated is greater than F tabulated. In that case also, null hypothesis rejected. Right? You can calculate this by the data analysis. We have done all this thing. See here, F calculated, F critical. Right? We can calculate this here also. Where is our data sheet? See, we have done this in the last lecture, right now? Let's calculate it again. Just data, data analysis, ANOVA with single factor. In this case, only one factor is there. Input range, select the whole input range, right? Then labels in the first row, output range, select the cell where you want. Oh, first click here and here and okay. See, this is our analysis result. Are you with me, class?
Yes, ma'am. That is the F calculated, right?
Yes. This is F calculated. And this one F critical. See, right? So you can directly interpret from the result that, see, f calculated, this is our calculated value, right? And this is already written, f critical, f calculated is greater than f critical, right? Means test is statistically significant, okay? And null hypothesis, when test is statistically significant, it interprets null hypothesis rejected. Null hypothesis rejected means alternative hypothesis accepted. What is our alternative hypothesis in this case? See, alternative hypothesis means there is at least two population means having difference. Agree? Or should I repeat it?
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
It's clear.
F calculated greater than F critical means test is statistically significant. If test is statistically significant means null hypothesis rejected. Null hypothesis rejected means alternate hypothesis accepted. What does it mean? It means there is some variation in at least two population means. That should be the interpretation. Right?
Ma'am,
Hmm.
in the ANOVA table, na, like that log table you mentioned,
Hmm.
that F value we look up to is F critical, right?
Yes, this one.
Okay, so that also gets in the Excel sheet also, right? So we don't have to look at the log table if we don't
No,
have
no,
it.
it's not exactly log table. It's a F table.
That only, ma'am, F table.
That
Yeah.
is, that will be the F table, and you have to calculate this data from the F table.
Okay.
But in Excel, it will be automatically calculate and give in the report, right? May- It shows all the values, calculated value and tabulated value, both automatically. That is inbuilt in the ANOVA function. Okay, are you with me?
Ma'am, we selected ANOVA single factor. What
Yes.
is the single factor here actually?
Here, you tell me, what is the single factor here?
Age, I think.
Age. We are calculating the variation in ages with the different samples, right? Yes, everyone.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
So, what should be the interpretation? One more interpretation is there. Is this clear? One more interpretation. Note it down. If p value, two values are there. One is p value, okay, and second one is alpha value, okay. If my p value, if p value is less than alpha, then it reflects the rejection of null hypothesis. Note it down. Rejection of null hypothesis. Right? Means rejection of H0. Is it visible properly? Or should I
Ma'am,
rewrite it?
what is alpha actually?
Yes, yes, I will explain. Come. Wait. P is greater than alpha. What does it mean? Null hypothesis accepted. First note it down. Okay. Two assumption, two interpretation. One is P is greater less than alpha means null hypothesis rejected. Null hypothesis rejected means what does it reflect? Alternative hypothesis accepted. Agree? Class, agree with me or not?
Yes, ma'am.
And null hypothesis accepted means what? Alternative hypothesis rejected. Right now? So, from this table, I am having one p-value. This one. This is my p-value, right? And the alpha value is your confidence interval. In this case, we are calculating the significance level with 5%, means 5% means the alpha value is 0.005. By default, Excel also consider 5% significance level, right? By default, in generalized form, when we calculate the variation or the amount of variation, we consider the 5% significant level. Okay, so the alpha value is 0.005. Now here, this is the standard alpha value 0.005, right? This one, and my calculated alpha value p value is 0.04. So in this case, it is less than or greater than alpha. Yes, in this case, it is greater than or less than alpha. Tell me. Class, are you there or not? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Where are you all? What are you doing? Are you there, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is my ANOVA table. In this case, p value is this, right? Calculated p value. This is my alpha value. So for this case, it is less than or greater than?
Less than, ma'am.
Less than. So what should be the interpretation?
Reject the null hypothesis and accept the alternate.
Alternate hypothesis means again the interpretation is same. With the F statistics also we are getting rejection of null hypothesis. With the P statistics also we are getting the same conclusion, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So how to write? Since the p value is 0.05, which is small, we reject the null hypothesis in favor of alternative hypothesis. What does it mean? At least two population means differs, right? What does this mean? This means that there is enough evidence to infer that the mean percentage of assets invested in stock market differ between the four age categories. Are you with me? That we want to prove, na?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is the interpretation of your ANOVA table, right? Is this clear or should I repeat it?
Clear, ma'am.
Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now
In
one
data
more.
analysis tab, we have to select ANOVA single factor while doing
Yes, yes,
this. Okay,
yes.
ma'am.
Data analysis, ANOVA single factor. This is data analysis, ANOVA single factor. Insert the data, you will get this sheet. Okay. Now one more interpretation. is how many independent variables are there? How many independent? If we have in question only this sheet, there is no data, and we question is interpret the result. Then number of questions are there. Okay, how large the sample size is? How to calculate the sample size? To calculate the sample size, we use the degree of freedom. DF means what? Degree of freedom. Between the group, this category sometimes represent regression. Within the group, it represents sometimes errors. Listen it. Between the group category, it represent the regression, and within the group represent the errors, right? So if the question is there, this is what sum of square. SS means what? Sum of square, right? So if the question is how large the sample size, how to calculate the sample size, how many number of samples are there, how to calculate, it is calculated on the basis of DF. The formula for DF is equal to n minus 1. Okay, DF is equal to n minus 1. What is the value of DF here? 3, right? N minus 1. So what should be the value of n? N is equal to 4. Means there are 4 samples in the given case study. Is this clear? Or should I repeat it?
Clear, ma'am.
See, 4 samples are there. First sample, second sample, third sample, and fourth sample. You can interpret this from this table also by the degree of freedom value. Okay, by the degree of freedom value. Is this clear?
Uh,
Class? Yes.
Ma'am, the initial formula is n minus 1, n, where n is the number of categories, ma'am.
Number of samples, number of categories. Yes.
Categories, okay. The 362 is n minus k.
N minus k. Yes. Correct.
So now n will be like 362 plus 3, 365.
Here n is 4, but if this is the value of k. K value is n minus 1, which is 4 minus 1,
Yes, ma'am.
right? So this will be your n minus k. This is your n.
Ma'am, but we have taken 366, ma'am. Total number of observations.
Total number of observation 366, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes. So what's the mistake here?
While selecting the data set, we might consider two instead of, I mean, we might consider only three.
Yes, yes, yes. It may be. Now the second one is the only one regression line is there. One regression analysis is there, right? It represent only one independent variable is there in your data set. Okay, you can interpret this from this table. Here only one regression line is there, means only one independent variable is there. Now if we want to calculate standard error of estimate, standard error of estimate, ठीक है? Standard error of estimate can be calculated by SSE, sum of square of errors upon n minus k. Here the sum of square of error is this one, 11618 70 upon n minus k is 362, right? So this is the standard error of estimation for this table. Okay. Yes, class.
Now, standard error of estimate is same as MSE, right?
Pardon?
Standard error of estimate is same as MSE, right? MSE.
MSE. Yes, mean square of error.
Uh,
Okay. It is same as mean square of error. Okay. Now, if you want to calculate the determination, coefficient of determination, R square. Okay. Coefficient of determination R square is calculated by sum of square of regression upon sum of square of total. Sum of square of regression is 3741 upon total 16561, right? Okay. 16561 2. So you will get, divide this 3741 divided by 165,612, you will get 0.02, 0.0225, right? Agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Means around, when you convert this into percentage, you will get around how much? Tell me. 0.000225 into percentage. What should be the value? Yes, class. Please reply.
Ma'am,
Uh,
can you please repeat the question?
Calculate the coefficient of determination. Calculate the coefficient of determination. See, this is your k value, na? So when you calculate here total value, you should consider here n value. Agree? First, listen this. This is k is equal to 3. So definitely n will be greater than this 3, means 4, right? And when you add this 4 plus 2, you will get 366. Here it is the addition of k and n minus k. This is degree of freedom, na? Not the total number of samples. Are you with me?
Yes, ma'am.
So coefficient of determination, you can calculate this by sum of square of regression upon sum of square of total. You will get the value. So by this way, you can interpret the ANOVA table first. What is P? What is F? What is the interpretation from P? What is the interpretation from F? Then what is the degree of freedom? How many number of variables are there? What is the standard error of estimate? What is the regression coefficient? You can calculate all this by this method. Is this clear? Lars, is this clear or not?
Coefficient of determination we can find by that it is actually r, right? So we have to take the square root, right?
Yes, but we interpret or we usually represent in terms of r square. No need to take the square root. Coefficient of determination itself represent in terms of r square, not in terms of r.
Okay.
So whenever we interpret, we consider only r square value. Okay.
Ma'am, in that case, the interpretation will be 0.023 somewhere. That means 2.3%.
Hmm. And then
That is very least, ma'am.
yes,
Only 2.3% of variation has been explained by the independent variables.
yes. So what? How to interpret this? 2% variation can be explained by the independent variable in the dependent variable. Okay, rest of the 98% is unexplained. Okay,
Yes, ma'am. Even though the analysis we have done is acceptable, but the sample size is not enough. Can we say that?
yes, we can.
Okay.
Is this clear, everyone?
2% of the variation is explained by the independent variables, right?
2% of the variation in dependent variable
Ah,
with respect to independent variable can be explained.
okay.
Is this clear? The question will be, this is the data, calculate the solve the case study and interpret the result. Or they will give you directly this table and ask the number of questions on the basis of this data. Okay? Is this clear, class?
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Ma'am, what is K exactly? K, value of K is?
K is number of samples.
And so what is N?
Sorry, K is your this what degree of freedom.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'm taking attendance. Give me 1 minute. Huh? Okay, you check this attendance and then tell me any updation is there or not. I will not after the lecture.
Ma'am, do you want me to take the attendance? I will send the screenshot if possible.
See this one.
Yes, ma'am, it's correct. 15. Yeah, we are 16, except human, there are 15 only.
But how to scroll down this?
Ma'am, you can export as CSV.
Ma'am, exported CSV, you save that file.
So check this one. See, is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Correct?
Yes, ma'am, yes.
No issue with this.
Yes, no, okay.
So the next topic is time series. Now I think Anova is clear.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, if it is possible, can you show us how to look at the table, the second general method?
Which method?
I mean to say, if the table is given, calculating the F critical from the table, F table.
F table.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
If it is an offline thing, we will do now, ma'am. From table wise, they will give in the question paper. This is the table and this is the values. From that, we have to calculate the F
Okay, so
critical.
I will show you this in the next lecture. I will download the F table and then we'll show you.
Okay, ma'am, no problem.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now we will discuss the time series analysis. The operational part will discuss in the next lecture. After this, you are having one topic which is descriptive analysis, operational decision problems, forecasting with past data, trends and seasonality, forecasting for new product. Okay, we will discuss first that. This time series analysis. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
So let's start with this time series analysis. A variable measured over time is called time series, right? From this data, we analyze it to detect pattern that will enable us for forecast future value of the variable. Whenever the forecasting is there, listen it, or prediction is there, we usually deal with the historical data, right? Historical data detect the pattern and predict the future pattern, right? So we first deal with the historical data, convert the data into the pattern form, understand that pattern, and then we can predict the next or future movement. We can use the same analysis in stock market also, right? We use the we usually study the previous movement, right? Suppose this is 950, today is 950, market open. We study the movement, what exactly the movement of your market in first 10 minutes. This is 9:25. Okay, so today here the moving average is also very good. So I can predict, okay, there is a uptrend, right? If the volume is good here, then I can predict, yes, there is a uptrend. If my entry is here at 9:17 and my exit is somewhere here, it is almost 9:50, right? So this will be what? Tell me. Is this visible or is this visible properly? No? Historical data and previous data, right? Historical data, previous moment, last day moment, 15 minutes before moment, right? This is the moment or this is the graph. No need to draw this line right now.
Yes, ma'am. There is only one direction, time.
Only one direction. This is 9:15. The moment is something like this. I am getting here good volume. Okay, very good volume here. I am getting good moving average also. One parameter is there which shows the variation or direction of variation. Right? So let's. This is now I am getting a negative volume. Something like this. Okay. So suppose my entry is here. I am getting okay. Now some good volume is there. So I entered here at 9:17. Okay. 9:17. My entry is there, and my exit is somewhere here at 9:40. Then what is this? What is this?
The time bracket.
98.
Time bracket. And what? If my entry is here and my exit is here, so definitely this will be my profit. Agree? So what is the timing of this time? 9:40 to 9:70. How much time it is?
20,
27, 37, 23 minutes. Right? And suppose I purchase 2000 shares. Okay? And I am getting profit of 5 rupees between these 23 minutes. 25 rupees per share. Then what should be my profit margin? 2000 into 5. Agree? Plus,
Yes, ma'am. 10,000.
so within 23 minutes, I can earn 10,000 rupees. Agree? It means this is the main application oriented use of time series analysis. You can study the historical data, right? You can check the pattern, so uptrend pattern, right? And you can predict the future movement for the profit and loss. In stock market, number of people invest money, right? But some of the people get the profit. Why? Because their analysis part is very strong. It is the whole game of analysis, right now. If someone entered here at 9:40 and he get exit at 9:50, or suppose 10, 10, then it is profit or loss?
Loss.
Loss. This is the power of study. You get my point? Or if I enter here, somewhere here, now 12 o'clock, 12 a.m. or p.m. sorry, right? So, or 1 p.m. suppose. So now I want to take entry in this. So I will check what exactly is the market behavior from morning. Okay. I am getting pattern of 15 minutes. I will get the pattern of 30 minutes. Then 1 hour movement pattern is there. Then 1 day movement pattern is there. And then 1 month movement pattern is there. Right? In most of the websites, right? Most of the website nowadays directly Excel sheet is available for the data analysis. Okay, you can access the historical data from here also or from an NSE website also. Either you can use BSE or NSE, India.
Ma'am, so while investing in any stock, which is the best, means like which time frame should we see?
Depends. We have to study all the time frames. See this one, right? When you single click on a particular stock market, you will get the movement. Okay. So it depends when where you want to invest, the investors are also there. See the complete sheet. Look at the today's movement. Look at this. See here past 30 days. This is right.
Yes, ma'am.
This is low. This is chain. This is open, high, and low. One block is there. Complete block for this. It's a Nifty 500. See the variation. Previous close, previous data, right? Open, close, lower band, upper band. This one. This is the historical data. See, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. You can filter this from here. You can download the CSV file. Are you with me? Class. Just download the file. You will get the Excel file. Insert that Excel file in your model, analysis model. You will get the next movement, whether it is in uptrend or downtrend form. Right? So this is the main actual application oriented time series analysis. Okay. Now in time series component, what the timing is? 10:30. In the time series component, there are four variations. First is long-term trend, cyclic trend, seasonal trend, and random variation. A trend is a long-term, relatively smooth pattern or direction that persists usually more than 1 year. Right? Trend usually consider more than 1 year of historical data to make a pattern. Right? In stock market, two terminologies are there: uptrend and downtrend. So this is uptrend, right? When the movement is something like this, that will be downtrend. Okay. So this is the pattern. Okay, movement of my stock is something like this in 1 year. If I invest here in January 2021, okay, January 2021. So I think I will get a good uptrend, a good profit up to September 2021. Got it? Always there is a time series analysis. So your one axis should be time and other axis should be variation in the price. Right? Are you with me, class?
Yes.
This is the theoretical concept which I have
Ma'am,
told.
can you explain that cyclical variation once again?
Yes. These are the names only. I'm coming to them. So this is what? This is the trend. What exactly the trend is? Okay, from last 2 months, my cutoff is somewhere here. Okay, no issue. Now for next 1 month, cutoff is somewhere here. It is having a hike, a good hike from the base. Okay, so from 1 month, last 1 month, and the stock is having a good variation in a positive manner. Okay. Now I can predict, yes, there must be some uptrend up to this. Okay, so my profit margin will be very good in the next 1 month. I can invest here. I can take entry here. And I can apply the stop loss somewhere here. Okay, so stop loss. Are you with me?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
तो ये theory है जो आप लोग एग्जाम में नोटबुक में लिखेंगे, right? So this is the theory, and what I am explaining, that is the practical view of this theory. Okay. So this is the trend analysis. One long term trend. So this is the long term trend which is based on 1 year. Cyclic. Cyclic is wave like pattern describing a long term behavior for more than 1 year. Cyclic pattern that are consistent and predictable are quite rare. Hence, will ignore this type of variation. Such type of variation is there in the data. What should be my prediction for this? Okay, when it takes revert from a particular point, when it takes revert from a particular point, right? So it takes a jump off on an average, suppose 80 rupees. Suppose, huh? It doesn't matter, it may be a range of 60 to 100, but 80 is fixed. Here, suppose this width is 90. Suppose this width is 80, right? So it's very risky to enter here. Why? Because it's already taken almost 50 high. So my prediction for margin for the profit is around 50, 60, 70, 80, around 20 rupees or 30 rupees. But if I am ready for the profit of 10 rupees for 1000 share, I can take entry here and ready to exit very soon. Right? This is my risk point. Agree? If I take entry here, then this factor is minimum. Why? Because I know on an average it move up to 55. Agree? if I take entry here, it's difficult, or it is very risky to get a 10 rupees hike. Are you with me?
Yes.
And suddenly I note that, and suddenly I observe that it reverts. Oh, so I should stop here. I should take stop loss here. I already predicted it is around 10 rupees, but it reverts only 8 rupees. So I should take the exit, immediate exit, because I know once it reverts, it will down around 50 rupees. Agree? Maximum of 50 rupees. It may revert from 30, it may revert from 40, but maximum 50. So no need to take entry here. Now again I observe it revert from this. Again I observe it reverts from 30. Oh, this is the point where I am having minimum risk. Agree? Class. This is the point where I am having minimum risk. Okay, so minimum movement in a train, as per my study, as per my data analysis, is 50. I started from 80, but on an average I consider here 50. Okay, but I am ready. I am ready for the 20 rupees hike. So I am at minimum risk. Agree? Class.
Yes,
So I take entry here with the 1000 share, and I apply the stop loss after 20 rupees because the safe side of my investment. Okay, so on 1000 share, on an average, I got 20 rupees profit. So what should be my profit? Right?
20,000.
It doesn't matter that this uptrend is up to 50. It may be because my prediction is around 80, but on an average it will be 50. But I don't want to take a single rupees risk. So at the minimum level, I insert a stop loss at 20 rupees. Anyhow, I will get 20 rupees profit. And definitely, I will. So my profit is this. This is the data analysis. Not exactly data analysis, this is the pattern analysis. Right? Are you with me? Everyone?
yes.
Yes, ma'am.
How I conclude this? Okay, I am ready. This 50 hike should be there based on this yearly data, historical data. Right? Is this clear?
Yes.
And this whole thing you can calculate mathematically. Number of techniques are there only in Excel. No need to go for any high specification software. You can do all this with the Excel only. And then the only copy paste in one function, apply the function, you will get the next one. But for that some logic should be there. Otherwise this 20,000 loss should be ready for the loss of 20,000 also. Okay. So this is seasonal, depends on the season. First season, then second season. Once the season reverts, I will get a good hike. This one. The whole prediction is for this, and whole study is of this. Agree? This is the seasonal component of the time series exhibits a short term, less than 1 year calendar repetitive behavior, right? And this is the random. There is no fixed pattern. Irregular, unpredictable changes in the time series tends to hide the other components. This is the random variation. Is this clear, class?
Yes, yes.
So I think it depends. Your exam will be in the month of December, na? So it depends in the situation of January. Now all the classes are offline actually.
Yes, and more 99% is written.
Theoretical paper, na?
Theoretical.
And the practical.
No, no. There is now, ma'am. There is no any cases.
No need to discuss now. It totally depends on the situation in the January month.
About joining class. Joining class online exam.
So I think I should stop here. I think it is clear how to do trend analysis.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a very good tool actually. You will get benefit once you get the exact logic. The whole story is about logic. And anybody can predict the movement of stock market. Right? Once you know the logic. Logic is the same manner. Moving average analysis, then seasonal analysis, then volume analysis, number of analysis are there based on the Excel in the function.
Ma'am, the analysts use only time series or they use regression also?
First, time series analysis is there, and the number of parameter associated with the time series analysis. This is just a introduction.
No, I'm asking whether that they use time series or they use something else also.
No, only time series. Because next prediction is also based on the time, na? What exactly your entry point, entry time. That's the reason. Okay. So thank you very much everyone. We'll discuss some of the